Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Draw with T. So today we are inking another card. Well, I keep saying we, you know what I mean. I mean me, not the royal we, but I like to include you guys in my work. Actually, let me know if you think it's weird when I say we. I don't know why I do that. It's just something I've always done. I'll do we and then I'll do like you. Anyways, that's enough of that rambling. Today I am inking what I kind of consider like the card for this year. And the reason I say that is like, this is, how to explain it, I guess. Every year for the last 9 years, I think this is the 10th year. I'm actually not sure. It's very, very close to 10 if it isn't. For like about 10 years, back in 2010, I made my family just a little card. I had time on my hand, and it was of a cute little reindeer sitting under a tree, and it was just such a cute little cartoon, and I had such fun making this Christmas card that we sent out. It wasn't very good, but that was like 9 years ago. And I continued doing it every year, even when it was stressful and I had too much to do, and it was college and all that. I kept doing this card, and every single year it would feature this same little reindeer, which I came to call Derpydeer. She started off kind of as Rudolph, and then, you work with a character for years, and they just inevitably become your own. You'll notice here I'm struggling with the candy cane. And again, as I've mentioned, this is just the nature of me struggling with working with an Intuos 5. I don't think you have that problem with Cintiqs or any, tablet where you can actually see what you're drawing on. So here you can see I even went as far as to make a layer indicating the cylindrical nature of the candy cane, so I could kind of get the curves right. And actually that was just partially because I suck at candy cane curves, and last time I did a candy cane card, I swear I spent way too long on those curves. I actually was like, you know what, I just wasted part of my life. But back to the story. So the reason this is kind of like the de facto card is because every year I would redraw Derpydeer doing something adorable. And even though I already did a drawing of Derpydeer, that card, the card in last episode, which I apologize, I guess I didn't really talk about it, although I have in other episodes. That's kind of a redo of the very first card. It's actually not very similar to the first card, but making it too similar I think would have been a bad move, because the first card wasn't great. It's okay, but you advance and your ideas get better, and I didn't want to redraw a meh idea. I wanted to push that idea. So yeah, but that was just kind of a redo, and I just kind of want to eventually redo all my cards so I can kind of sell the designs. Because I think some of them are good. They just need to be redrawn, No point never drawing that design again, just because I did it once, and nobody ever saw it. So yeah, but this is like the de facto card. This is the one where I put in, I came up with a new idea, a new thing for Derpydeer to be doing, a brand new episode in the saga, whereas the last one was like, a retelling, like, a redo. Like the 2019 version of the movie, but it's a card. And unlike some redos, it was actually better, like just, objectively better. Sorry, weird tangent. But so this is the de facto card, so this is kind of the main card I'm going to be sending out to people who know me for my Christmas card with Derpydeer. But I'm very happy that I have the other 3 cards that I can offer this year, just for some variety. I mean, I know not a lot of people want a gay card, but I sure as heck do, and I feel like there's some people that are yearning for it the way I'm yearning for it. I know some people that would absolutely love the Krampus card, and I hope that hits its niche market enough that, enough people buy it, and it's not just me with like 200 of them. I don't know if I'll actually have 200. I'll definitely probably have 100 folded cards of it. But this is like the card, the one I put a lot of time into thinking about it, and the sketching, and I put a lot of time into the other ones too, but this was the one I needed to make sure turned out very, very well, because this is kind of the next chapter. Every year I try to, get better and show that I've gotten better, just in whatever way, whether that's color, whether that's inking, whether that's my ideas, whether that's my composition, or my character work, whatever the year has made me better at, I like to show it off in my Christmas card. It's not even like an intentional thing. I don't sit down and be like, oh, well, this year I've been studying characters, so I've got to up my character game. It's just kind of, it naturally comes out. It just naturally, when you work a lot on something, it naturally comes out. Obviously, there's no like highly realistic human anatomy to show through this, which I'm kind of glad, because it's not something I actually want to like do and be known for. I mean, it's one thing to do studies and to help other people learn through my own studies, but I don't want to be like selling anatomy art, if you know what I mean. I much prefer being a cartoonist. But yeah, so here I am just inking away, and there's a lot of inking to be done here. So this card is actually kind of a continuation of another card, or rather it's kind of in the same series, I suppose, even though they're all in the series of Derpydeer doing something for 9 years now. And there was a card 2 years ago. 2017's card was Derpydeer hanging out in hot chocolate. And if you go back some episodes, I actually show that card, but unfortunately I forgot to put that image here because I didn't know if I would be talking about that card or not, but it turns out I am. So in that card, Derpydeer's just like chilling, leaned back in a big mug of hot chocolate, and there's like some marshmallows around her, and she's just having a good old time. And I was actually scared that people would think that this poor little deer is like boiling to death, but it was such a popular card of mine that I thought, geez, maybe people really like food. I think people like small deers in food, especially when the food looks good and there's lots of it. So I decided, you know what? Let me see if if there's some water in this vessel, if people do like this idea. And I know it sounds like, geez, Tegan, what are you doing making art for other people? Like, shouldn't you be making art for you? Isn't that the thing you always talk about? And it is. That's very true. I can honestly, there's only so much art I can do for other people before I need to just, stop and do art for me. But this is one of those cases where every year I got to do a Christmas card. I've done 9 already. It's not like I can just, a lot of the simple ideas are done. I can't do Derpydeer popping out of a present. That's now been done twice. Sledding, it's been done. Being in a snowman, that's been done. Skating at night, been done. Soaking in hot chocolate, been done. So I start reaching a point where it's like, well, how do I take this to the next level? And I start looking for ideas. And honestly, if people are like, you know what, I would love another Derpydeer food card, you know what? Sure, let's do another Derpydeer food card for this year. I'm game for it. It's still my art, and gets to be my idea, my take on the whole food thing. But then other people get what they like, and if they like Derpydeer in food, I'll do some more of that. And just naturally, as the years go on, like, I don't know if every year will be a food card. If I'm doing 4 cards every year, maybe I could fit one in every year, but I keep doing this, there might be just some new ideas that can lead to new things. I don't know. Who knows? That's a weird word. Yeah, and here I'm now doing the last of the inking, the foreground inking. One tip if you're inking, use bolder lines the closer the thing is. I think that's a pretty common thing, but in case you didn't know, close objects should be a lot darker. Far objects should be done with a very thin line. That just helps give an idea of depth. You can kind of, in some instances, get away with a dark line on your focal point. So for example here, the middle stuff, where Derpydeer is and the pudding is, that's the focal point. The foreground stuff, even though it's in the foreground, it's actually not the focal point, it's just there. It's a foreground, and then the background stuff is done very thin because, again, it's just the background stuff. But in this instance, you'll actually kind of note that well, actually the lines are sort of on par with the pudding, like they're both about the same darkness, but just the lines are bolder. You know, like if you see their Christmas and Merry, and the little inlines of the pudding, like those are thinner. So the foreground feels a lot, you know, bolder, darker. So it feels like it's closer. So there's a good tip for you. That's how you add some depth to your image. And now I'm just gonna go in there and erase the lines I don't need. I actually shouldn't have really erased them. What I should have done is made a layer mask and just hidden them. If you guys don't know what layer masks are, definitely look it up. I'm gonna say look it up because I don't think I can explain it in a concise way in a video talking like this as I draw a deer. Look it up. Basically, it's a way of like sort of erasing your art, but it's not actually erased. You can like recover it. It's still there. It's just hidden. And it's a great way of like quote unquote erasing something. But say you have to shift, like if I had to shift Derpydeer up or down and I needed more art, you know, that's one way of doing it. You know, like if I needed the art to come up, or if the art was up, or, you know, like, you know, it's, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's basically a way of hiding your art without actually losing it. So if you do need to bring it back, you can. But I was pretty confident that I wouldn't need it. Like the positioning was good, and as I inked the rest of it, I'm like, you know what, this is good. I don't need to worry about that. So those are, you know, some decisions that you can make. And yeah, this is the back of the card now. This card here is actually I believe the only one that's gonna have technically two internal like that both sides of the inside are gonna have art. I guess my gay card technically does too, but that's just reused from the front. This is sort of unique art that I'm using here. So this is the right side, so when you open the front of the card, this is the first thing you see, and it's got the little phrase, and then we've also got art on the left. I'm just going to say this now, it's actually not a continuous spread, and basically what that means is the image doesn't continue on to the other side, and that's intentional, and I know it'll probably look a bit dumb, but the reason I decided to do that was the printer I get this printed through. Basically, I'll save you the technical talk. Basically, it's really hard to do a continuous spread reliably. It could happen that I send them the spread and then like a 1/4 inch of one side gets cut off, so then it just looks weird, like there's a 1/4 inch too close and there's a 1/4 inch missing, if that makes sense. So I figured that would look weirder than just not having the continuous spread. Like I figured intentionally doing it so it looked intentionally not a spread would be better than if it looked like it was intended to be a spread but had failed to be. And that's actually kind of a pro art tip there. If like anything you should do with like intention. Nothing should look sort of, kind of, maybe. You know, if you're going for a look, push it all the way. You know, you don't want accidents. You don't want, what am I trying to say here? Accidents. Like if you think you're gonna have an issue, like, oh, I can't have a 2-page spread here, then just make it look like it's not a spread. Ideally, what you would do is you would design it in a way where there was, you know, you could maybe do a spread if there was nothing overlapping, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted each side to be filled with delicious, delicious things, with either Derpydeer or a pudding buried in each. And I don't know, I thought that was cool, and I thought that would be nicer than just having like that side I'm working on there being bare, like moving the cupcake over and just having this weird bald patch. I think that would be weirder than just like having the cupcake not continue on. And yeah, that's basically it. Let me know if you like art on the inside of your cards. If you got a Christmas card and, you know, you're expecting to open it up and it's just another Christmas card, and if you opened it up and you saw that on the inside, would you be wowed? Would you think, wow, that's cool, that's extra awesome? I don't know if anybody cares. Maybe it's only because I'm an artist, but if I got a card and I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really nice cartoon card. I love cartoon cards. This is so me. But then I opened it up and like there's art on the inside, like not just throw away, a tiny image at the front, but actually like original art drawn just for the inside. That to me would be an amazing card and just an amazing experience. I think in that instance I'd actually be like, oh wow, like a legitimate, honest wow, which I don't think you get with cards very often, because you see the front and it's like, oh yeah, thank you for the card. You might think, wow, I like this card, it's good art, but I kind of want to make my cards in a way that you want to keep them, if that makes sense. I wanted people to feel guilty if they're thinking about throwing my cards out. I really don't like to think about that part, actually, that my cards get thrown out. And I know they do. It's inevitable. You make some art thing, disposable thing like cards, it's going to happen, but yeah, I'd prefer to think people keep them and then they put them out every year. I know my friends probably do, because, they just like seeing me and collecting my art. And, I've been making these cards for so long, it's kind of a little bit of a collector's thing, but I know a lot more people just kind of throw them out or they get lost or whatever. But I like to keep all my nice Christmas cards. And, when I'm kind of done with the whole displaying thing, some of them I just turn into notebooks. Like, I'm a bookbinder too. Like, alright, I'm a bookbinder. I make it sound fancy. I know how to bind books. It's actually not that hard. So, I'll bind them into little notebooks and then I write in them. Like, I just like to reuse stuff and redo things with good art, And I might do that with some of my cards too, down the line. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's basically it. We're basically near the end here, so I'm going to show you some stills of the art. Comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't. I always appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a good day. Hope your holiday season's going great. We'll soon have the final cards up.